Previously on the channel.
He smiles to the camera and says, okay, time to give up, basically.
One of the best ever, the ultimate warrior. You gotta love this guy, right, Gunther?
Those are the real dark ages. Sports.
Bodybuilders and
Dark
showman.
ages?
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that, he's one of the best WWE superstars of all time.
No, he's not.
What don't you like about Warrior?
He is a showman. He's not an athlete, not a professional wrestler. He's a showman. So, now everybody knows why I had to be the one to keep this title for the longest time in history, to, wash its reputation clean and set it to a new standard, because...
The man who beat the Honky Tonk Man, of course, in just a matter of seconds, and then you took care of that. So that's why he's the greatest.
It's a good matchup.
I really like to think that he's working and staying in character when he says something so stupid. The wrestlers in the business have lost the plot. It's not about the moves. It's not about the flips and the kicks and doing 10 million chops in one match. It's about the larger-than-life characters and telling a story. If there's no story, then nobody's going to pay to see the match. So it doesn't matter how many flips you do. If nobody's invested into the characters, then nobody's going to pay to see the match. So it doesn't matter how many flips you do. Wrestling is about larger-than-life characters and telling stories and putting asses in seats. And all the moves in the world, all the tope suicidas, all the tequila sunrises, don't draw money. Frankly, a lot of the fans that enjoy that kind of indie-rific wrestling have lost the plot. It's not about work rate, it's not about the moves, it's not about the flips and the kicks, it's not about how many stars that Dave Meltzer rates your match. The match is a tool that's used to tell the story. But if the match doesn't have a good story going into it, then nobody's going to pay to see it. And at the end of the day, the wrestling business is about making money. And what draws the money is the larger-than-life characters and the story. If the matches don't have that, then they don't mean anything. If Gunther had a character, he would be able to get away with doing a lot less in his matches. It doesn't mean anything if you do a bunch of moves with no story behind them. And let's talk about the Ultimate Warrior. He was at one time the biggest star in the wrestling business, even surpassing Hulk Hogan. He became a much bigger star than Gunther at a time when the business was much more popular. And he got over by doing a lot less. So who's the real mark? Case in point, how many dives did Hulk Hogan do? None. How many dives did The Rock do? None. How many dives did Stone Cold do? None. How many dives did The Undertaker do? He did one, once a year at WrestleMania. And they were bigger stars than the wrestlers of today. Really, Gunther? You had to wash the title's reputation clean? Back in the day, it was the superstar that made the title, not the other way around. The only reason people get the title now is so that they can get over. People used to get the title because they were over. And far more people watched the product when Ultimate Warrior was the Intercontinental Champion. He got the title because he was slowly getting more over than the top babyface. That's why Warrior got the Intercontinental title, because he was getting ready for the world title. You got the title so that you would look dominant, and you could break the Honky Tonk Man's record, and the title could get you over. Warrior got the title because he was already over. WWE today is not about telling decent stories. It's about breaking scripted records. And now, the wrestlers in the business are actually starting to believe their own scripted bullshit. What a mark Gunther is. And it's partly Triple H's fault because he's created this culture. And Meltzer is a huge part of that problem. But Gunther doesn't help when he says stupid things like this. Back in the day, wrestlers used to pretend to hurt each other, and everybody thought it was real. And now everybody's hurting each other for real, and everybody thinks that it's fake. There are more injuries in wrestling than ever before, and wrestling today looks more phony than it ever has. It's not about being a great wrestler. Yeah, that's good when somebody actually is a great wrestler, but that's not going to draw. Gunther's just not my cup of tea. Some people say he's a throwback, but to me he's just a wrestler, like a good technical wrestler. He does a bunch of moves in his matches that don't mean anything, and his matches go on and on and on. But he's speaking ill of the Ultimate Warrior, who got over by doing a lot less. I maintain Gunther shouldn't have been John Cena's last opponent. At this point, he doesn't need to end all these careers to be dominant. Frankly, it's getting old. There's been reports and rumors online circulating that Chris Jericho is returning to the WWE. I think the only reason the company's bringing him back is so that they can feed him to Gunther. Gunther's probably going to be AJ Styles' last opponent at the Royal Rumble. I was hoping we'd at least get one match in WWE between AJ Styles and CM Punk. But based on what happened tonight, and based on Shinsuke Nakamura spoiling AJ Styles' retirement, I think the only match between Punk and AJ that we're going to get in WWE is the one with the DQ finish that we got tonight on Raw. Side note, every time Gunther makes an entrance, my brain immediately goes to Baby Shark. And I don't know why, but he reminds me of Wolf the Dentist Stanton from the Mighty Ducks. D2, as a matter of fact.
Good on. You can do it. Come on.
This has been your one and only Wheelman, and this has been my reaction. Stay tuned for workout videos.
Smash that like button, do what you can. I'm your Wheelman.